Aljamain Sterling successfully defeated Henry Cejudo on Saturday, May 6th to remain UFC bantamweight champion, and Aljamain seems to already have his eyes set on a new opponent. During Aljamain Sterling's Octagon interview with Joe Rogan, Aljamain Sterling said, quote, "Sugar Sean, where the you at?" End quote. A lot of people feel like Sugar Sean O'Malley hasn't fought any true competition yet in his UFC career, and judging by the amount of people booing the champion Aljamain Sterling,
pretending to be no Mike Tyson, I'm not pretending to be nobody else. All I can be is Aljamain the Funkmaster Sterling. Be me. You step in the
I think the fans would like to see somebody become a new bantamweight champion. Dana White even seems interested in making Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley happening. When asked if Sean O'Malley gets a title shot next, he said, quote, "Yes, he's next." End quote. Despite what Dana White and Aljamain Sterling want, there are always going to be opinions on whether or not the title challenger is deserving. So, in this video, I'll be answering the question, does Sean O'Malley deserve a title shot? I'll first give some background information about Sean O'Malley and how he got to this point in his career, and then I will talk about Aljamain Sterling. On March 6, 2015, Sean O'Malley made his professional MMA debut with ICF, where he defeated Josh Reyes. Oddly enough, this was the only fight of Josh Reyes' professional career. Sean would then go on a 6-fight win streak before getting a chance to fight for Dana White.
I'm Sean O'Malley. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I train out of the MMA lab. I got involved in fighting when I was 15 years old. I liked boxing a lot, so I started working with the boxing coach, and I just started from there. Boxing, went to kickboxing. Then when I turned 18, I started MMA.
On July 18, 2017, Sean O'Malley had a chance to compete on the very first season of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, week number 2, and Sean would defeat Alfred Kashakian by knockout.
He continues to take blows from O'Malley. Oh, that's it! That is it! Sean O'Malley with a huge right hand brings Dana White.
That fight would help create a following for Sean, even though he didn't have an official UFC fight yet. While it was an impressive knockout that people could be convinced enough to follow his career, it was actually a reaction that would go viral.
Give that kid a contract!
You guys are pretty much like twins if you just do the outline of your body.
Meet that kid, man. He said, wow. This is my show.
Hey, the coolest thing about this is this kid got into martial arts.
On UFC Fight Pass, Snoop casts live commentary with famous rapper Snoop Dogg and UFC veteran Uriah Faber. Seeing two famous people impressed by a young fighter who would help create a following before making his UFC debut. Sean O'Malley would make his UFC debut on December 1st, 2017, where he defeated Terrion Ware by unanimous decision. Sean would then win his next 3 fights before fighting Marlon Vera.
Referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 40 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO Marlon.
Sean would injure his leg in his only loss to Marlon Vera. This loss wouldn't stop Sean from earning a spot in the bantamweight rankings. Sean would win his next 3 fights in a row before having a no contest to Pedro Munoz, a fight that ended in a controversial eye poke. Sean's next fight, however, was going to be very tough, as he was preparing to fight the former bantamweight champion, Petr Yan. A lot of people thought Yan would stop Sean with his wrestling skills, and it sure looked that way in the fight, but apparently the judges didn't think that way.
29-28 for the winner by split decision, Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Sean O'Malley defeated Petr Yan by split decision on October 22, 2022. Sean is currently the number 2 ranked bantamweight contender. The most recent fight by Sean was this fight with Yan, so now let's talk about Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling made his UFC debut against Cody Gibson at UFC 170, where he won by unanimous decision. Aljamain Sterling would then win 3 fights before having back-to-back losses. Aljamain Sterling would then bounce back with 2 more wins, but having a 3rd loss to Marlon Moreau. But that loss seemed to be good motivation for Aljamain, as he would then win his next 5 fights before earning himself a title shot against Petr Yan. Aljamain would win this fight, but not how you would expect it.
Look at him just pressing on the head here, though.
That's illegal.
On March 6, 2021, Aljamain Sterling would become bantamweight champion due to a disqualification of Petr Yan, who hit Sterling with an illegal knee. Nobody wanted the fight to end that way, but like it or not, Aljamain Sterling was the UFC bantamweight champion. Petr Yan would get a rematch versus Aljamain Sterling for Sterling's first title defense, and that fight went all 5 rounds. But the result might not be one that everybody agrees with.
Rodriguez scores the contest 48-47 for the winner by split decision. And now, the undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Aljamain Sterling.
Aljamain Sterling beat Petr Yan by split decision. This was technically the second time he beat Petr Yan, and he would defend that title against an undeserving TJ Dillashaw at UFC 280 on October 22nd, 2022. The reason I feel TJ was undeserving is because he last fought over a year ago and got a very questionable decision win and somehow jumped all the other ranked bantamweight contenders. Aljamain Sterling defeated TJ Dillashaw by TKO in round number 2, and after this fight, he would then get to defend his title against a retired fighter who hasn't fought in 3 years in Henry Cejudo, which is where we are now. The fans yesterday were booing Aljamain Sterling.
And still champion, the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain, it was an outstanding fight.
And Sean O'Malley has a big fan following, so it seems like all fans would want to tune in to watch Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. But, in my opinion, do I think Sean O'Malley deserves a title shot against Aljamain Sterling? Yes, I do. Sean O'Malley deserves a title shot sitting at the number 2 ranked bantamweight contender spot. He took a large step up in competition going from Pedro Munoz to Petr Yan, and whether you agree with the Yan decision or not, Sean had an entertaining fight, and I feel like he could put on another entertaining fight against Aljamain Sterling. It also makes sense from a business standpoint. You have a guy who is starting to create a lot of haters in Aljamain Sterling, and a guy who is still growing his fan base in Sean O'Malley. If these two fight each other, both sides will want to tune in and watch. But this is just my opinion. I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Sean O'Malley deserves a title shot? Do you think he doesn't deserve a title shot? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, subscribe for more videos just like this, and I'll see you next time.